Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Good morning and welcome to America's Web Radio, and it's a pleasure today. It's a little bit strange in that I'm doing Women's Wednesday, but I guess a guy can, we interview a lot of women, so why not? And it is Women's Wednesday on America's Web Radio, and we have a friend. I am not going to say old friend because she's still 22. She's been 22 for the last
20 years.
Yeah. No. Beautiful lady, beautiful friend, and many of you ladies out there will know exactly who I'm talking about when I say Ginger Howard, and she's here because I was very curious about. She had sent me a release that she was opening her store up, and I thought, the bells went off, and we haven't had anyone on that's opened their restaurant back up or opened their store up or anything. So I thought this would be the ideal time to call Ginger and see about coming out and talking about what's been going on and what is going on and what her crystal ball looks like, but also it had to be, I've been thinking a lot about it since we first talked about you coming out, is it had to be sort of a two-sided traumatic coin to decide to open up again. And so let's go back to the very start and when everybody said, okay, shut down.
Okay, so I'm so excited to be here this morning. First of all, David, thank you for having me. And I don't know if some of you might have heard years ago, I was on a show on America's Web Radio for about a year and a half, and we were the Freedom Five, and there were 5 Christian conservative women, and we had the best time around this table talking about the news of the day and everything. So being behind this microphone today is just like old hat, and I'm excited to be here today with David and to talk about the pandemic and the economy and my business and all of that. So going back to what happened was March 18th was the last day that I was actually open, and they had not mandated yet for stores to close. But when I came in, I had had an appointment, and I came in and my employee said, Ginger, I just think you need to close. Everybody's talking about closing and you should close. So I went to my neighbor, Beverly Bremer Silver Shop, that has been there forever, and she and I talked about it, and we decided we'll just go ahead and make the decision for 2 weeks. This is before they called shelter in place. So we said, let's just close for 2 weeks because we didn't know what was happening at that point. So we made a sign, we put it on the door, and I have to be honest with you, I boo-hooed for 3 days. It was the weirdest feeling. I cried and cried and cried, not knowing what was going to happen. And to me, 2 weeks was an eternity. I've never closed my shop for more than a couple of days for a holiday. But for 2 weeks, in my busiest time, that was really hard. And then during those 2 weeks was when our governor issued a shelter in place. And so then I couldn't open my shop back up. And so I decided last week, I kept hoping it would happen around Easter when the president mentioned Easter, and then they moved that goalpost. But I, in my mind, just was praying that when the shelter in place ended on April 30th, in my mind, I was opening May 1st. And then when the governor issued that he was restricting, extending, right, but he was opening up the hair salons and all of that. I wasn't included in that, so I thought I'm not going to wait. I'll still wait till May 1st. And so I opened Friday, and it was just me. I have a small store. It's a boutique, 1,300 square feet. So I emailed all my employees. I said, I'm opening back up May 1st. I'm going to work every day. If you are not comfortable coming back, please don't come. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. I want you to come if you're only comfortable. We'll wear masks. We'll do the social distance. We'll do the whole thing. So Friday I opened up with one other employee, and I had no idea what was going to happen. I was so excited, but at the same time I was a little nervous. But you know what was so interesting? The first couple of customers were kind of skittish, and they came in with their gloves and their mask on. So we put our gloves and our mask on. I follow whatever the customer does. I want to make them feel comfortable. But towards the afternoon, more people were relaxed. A lady came in with her dog. A lady came in with her baby. I mean, it was just so interesting. I went from one extreme to the other in one day. And Friday and Saturday, I had 18 customers total, which is a lot for a small store. They all bought something, which tells you they weren't just coming to window shop. They were coming to shop. And I was open. I decided to close on Mondays for now, just to have an appointment with people if they wanted to make an appointment. But I opened yesterday, and once again, I had a steady day. Everybody that came bought. So I think slowly but surely people are feeling more comfortable.
So, had you ever imagined anything like this?
Never. I feel like I'm in some kind of Twilight Zone or some novel by, about Jack Clancy or something. I don't know. It's just very, very... It's strange, and it's also strange to see people walking around in masks and gloves. And yesterday in my store, I had on a surgical mask that I can't breathe with, and I just said I never thought in a million years I would be wearing a mask in my store unless I was painting or something. But to keep germs out or to make people feel comfortable, it's very strange.
Do you blame the Chinese?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of truth with what they did, and they knew that was happening, and so I don't have enough information to say I definitely blame the Chinese, but I think there's some blame to lay at their feet for sure.
Well, let me ask, do you feel like the news has been honest?
No. I have to agree with our president. The fake news does what it does best, and it gives fake news.
I know we're both Republicans, and I make no bones about it, and we've already endorsed President Trump for a second term, and I thought the other night his town hall meeting was outstanding, and I thought he did a fantastic job, and he's answered the question. He doesn't dodge it, and as I think I mentioned to you the other night when we talked, as I was sitting on the couch in my house by myself, and I was watching it, so it was very quiet, and I listened to every word he had to say. And the other thought that kept running through my mind was, what if somebody else had won president? And the thought of Hillary or even Obama being in would have been just, disastrous. And I think anybody that criticizes our president today is not looking at the true facts, and that, had he not stopped travel,
oh, absolutely,
it would have been
secured the border.
All right. Now, he's got another, as I mentioned to you when you first came in, and I don't know why. I did hear it finally, I think this morning on the news, but we have another thing coming from the West Coast, and that's they're calling them killer bees, and these are bees that are about the size of your thumb that are devastating the West Coast, and why nobody's talking about it or I guess they're doing something about it, but I don't know. I had a friend tell me that lives in Oregon tell me about them a couple of 2 or 3 days ago, and wondered if they'd gotten over here yet, which to my knowledge they haven't, but from what I understand they are headed this way. So, it's, what's the old saying about, as far as I'm concerned, it seems like Trump has been, everything but the kitchen sink has been thrown
Absolutely.
at him. And I respect him for being a very strong man and standing up and addressing the pandemic as he has.
I think he's done an amazing job. I really do, and I can't imagine anybody else being in that position. I can't imagine anyone else being able to handle the pressure. I can't imagine the pressure he is under every single day. And I think he did. I didn't see the whole town hall, but what I saw was amazing. And just seeing him in the Lincoln Memorial was so powerful.
And for the Democrats to
I know.
To condemn him for doing it there is just, it's as much ours as it is theirs, so,
But the thing is, they're going to condemn him for anything. He could do. He could find a cure for cancer. He could find a cure for the coronavirus, and they would still hate him and make up terrible things about it.
And say he said, drink Clorox.
Right.
Yeah, it's incredible. But I have a good friend that I think her favorite saying is, "What goes around comes around."
That's true. You reap what you sow is what the
yeah.
Bible says.
And I think they're going to do it, and I think we're going to see a landslide, particularly for the presidency in November, and I hope we get back the House and keep the Senate. So
me too. I'm praying that.
We're America's Web Radio is supporting it. And while we're talking, I want to pitch America's Web Radio just a little bit in that tomorrow we have Dr. Nicole Sapphire on. She is a medical contributor to Fox News. And many of you have seen her on Fox and Friends almost daily for the last 2 or 3 weeks or a couple of months, really. And Nicole is just absolutely a beautiful person to speak with, and so gracious and so nice. And looking forward to her being on tomorrow, and we'll be talking about her new book, Let's Make America Healthy Again, which goes in the same tone that we're the only radio station in the country that I know of that has their own kung fu master. And we do meditation every Friday with Shi Diru is our kung fu master, and his show is basically all about mind over body. And we are a sick country, physically sick. We eat like pigs, we eat garbage, and we don't take care of ourselves. And between Shi Diru and Dr. Sapphire, we're going to be talking about, we could kill the virus in literally days just by taking care of ourselves and building our immune system, where it doesn't let viruses in and it doesn't propagate them. So it'll be a very interesting show tomorrow. And then at the same time, we're going to be, I said tomorrow, it's not tomorrow, I'm sorry. It's, tomorrow, Thursday. And then today, though, we're going to start our own federal investigation of the FBI, talking about General Flynn and the railroading that he got. And it's with our special agent, Sandy Bostic, will be doing it. He was, as many of you know, he was in the FBI, and then he went to Homeland Security and was stationed in El Paso, his last special assignment. So Sandy knows what he's talking about. He called me and asked if we could do a show on it, and I said absolutely. We got to get to the bottom of it. And I think Trump hit it on the head when he said we've got to clean the swamp. Well, we got to clean it and get it done soon. So, what do you think, in your mind? And I'm a little warped, but I don't think this is the first of the viruses or first of the.
No, I don't either, and that's what I'm concerned about. And what I'm concerned about, another thing, is how easily the public was swayed to think that the whole economy needed to be locked down and shut down, and just so quickly. To me, that was not wisdom, and I think the more we find out, the more we're going to see that we didn't need to do that. Certain people with the elderly, the immune compromised, those kind of people.
Be careful, Ginger, when you start talking about the elderly.
Oh, I'm sorry. But
us old folks.
But there are different people that are more compromised because of their immune systems or because they're older, and even if they're healthy and older. But I don't think we really needed to shut down the entire economy. Even different places that didn't. There's certain spots in Tennessee. I have a friend in rural Tennessee. There's no case of it. There's not anywhere near it, and they shut down everything in that town, and it hurt the economy there too. I just think the trickle-down effect we're going to see later, I think it was panic or something. And I understand the president. I know he did the best that he did with the information that he had, and I respect that, and I'm one under authority. I believe that's why we of course we obey the laws of the land and we obey our laws, but I am very concerned that the Democrats and the liberal left are going to seize an opportunity to say, oh, look how easy we did this, let's try something else.
Okay, so that's almost like saying internally. How do you feel like we'll get another attack externally from another nation or from China again? I mean, this is, in my opinion, couldn't happen a better time for the Democrat. Look at, we have a ruined economy
Right.
and all this, but I think personally, I think Trump will pull the rabbit out of the hat again, and by the time we get to November, we'll be rocking and rolling.
That is one of the things that I wrote an op-ed the other day about President Trump for Georgia and all the wonderful things he did for Georgia before the pandemic, and how Georgia will bounce back. The tax cuts, cutting the regulations, we were in the highest economic. We had the best numbers ever. Unemployment, the jobs rates, everything was so amazing before this happened. And it was President Trump and his policies. So I 100% agree with you. I think before November 3rd, the economy is going to bounce back because President Trump has a businessman's mind. He is a businessman at the core, and everything he does, he looks at this country like a business. And so he has built businesses back up from ground zero in his own personal life, and I believe he's going to build the country back up from ground zero.
And he has a phenomenal, everybody calls Reagan the great orator and all this kind of stuff, which he was, no question about that. But Trump has quite an ability to address people, and quite an ability, like he said, the art of the deal, and he can sit across the table and convince a Eskimo that they need ice.
Right.
And he's incredible that way. And I think for everything, he was the right man at the right time. And I know you and I believe the same way on things happen for a reason. Right. And even America's web radio can't change very much of it, but it happens for a reason, and we live through it. And I think we'll come through it and be better on the other side. I came up with this, or I've heard this all my life. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Well, I changed it. When the going gets tough, Americans get going. And we'll find a way and find an answer. And I think that's what Trump is counting on.
Absolutely. The Americans have the most amazing spirit that we always have. That's what founded this country, and that same American ingenuity and God-given right to dream and just to make the best of yourself and your family. I believe that we'll see it again.
We're going to have to take a quick break. One more time, I want to remind everybody that Nicole Sapphire, Dr. Nicole Sapphire, will be on Thursday morning talking about her new book, Make America Healthy Again. And then also later today we have our special agent on, Sandy Bostic, talking about investigating the FBI. We'll be back right after this.
This is David Donaldson with the Atlanta Healing.
Well, what do you think? We got to give you our address and stuff too when we come back, so people
We'll say make America beautiful again and come shopping and dress up. And nobody's been wearing anything but their sweat clothes. They're going to need to change sizes maybe. They might have to go up a size.
That's when you have to be really tactful, isn't it?
I know.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you're opening back. Well, I want to get back into that when we come back.
Most of my customers too are just so over it. Like they came in yesterday. They say, "I'm just over this. I'm over the whole thing." I mean that.
Okay, come back. And we're back with our special guest today, Miss Ginger Howard from Ginger Howard Selections. And where is your store exactly, Ginger?
My store is in Buckhead on Peachtree Road, 3164 Peachtree Road. It's between Piedmont and West Paces Ferry. It's about a mile down from Lenox and Phipps, but I also have a website, gingerhowardselections.com. So make sure you, for those of you that don't live in the Atlanta or Georgia area, you're welcome to shop online. We have free shipping for over $150, so we'll ship you a pretty box of clothes.
Fantastic. So, okay, the pandemic came, you closed. What was the ultimate on opening, reasoning for opening, and are you comfortable?
The ultimate reason for opening was once Brian lifted the sanctions for the hair salons and the tattoo parlors and the all of that, I felt like that was a week before I opened on May 1st, and I thought, okay, if he's looking at data, which he was, Dr. Toomey, he's done, followed the letter of the law and followed the data. I felt like, okay, they know something, that our numbers are going down in Georgia. I'm well, I'm healthy, my employees are well and healthy, and those that are not, or older, or not ready to come back, I said, don't come until you're 100% comfortable. I'll just be there myself and with one other person. Everybody was volunteered to come back. I said, I mean, of course they're being paid, but you're not made to come back. I'm not going to fire you if you don't want to come back yet, but I'm going to work every day by myself if I have to, or whoever wants to work one day at a time with me. So April 30th at 12:59, when the shelter in place lifted, I felt totally confident that May 1st, which was last Friday, that I could open my doors with wearing a mask, wearing disposable gloves. I had the shop sanitized from top to bottom. I have hand sanitizer at the counter. I keep cleaning the doors when people come in. I Lysol the dressing rooms. We steam the clothes if we need to after people try them on and they don't buy them. And I don't ever have more than 10 people in my shop at a time unless it's a big event or something. So I felt totally comfortable myself opening. And I feel like fear begets fear and hope begets hope. So if I'm happy and whole and healthy, and when people come in and I'm like, oh, you're going to get sick, and so they walk in and they feel, whew, it's comfortable here. And some mom will take off their mask and they don't feel worried or concerned that they're going to get sick. And I think it's important that we can't live in fear. We have to take precautions, of course, but the people that are coming out feel well. They're not sick. I'm well. I'm not sick. But I did order those because I've heard some stores are taking people's temperature, so I ordered those ones that you put on your forehead that you could throw away. So if anybody wants to, check their temperature at the door and throw it away, that's fine too. But I felt very comfortable. I still feel comfortable, and every day that I'm there, I get a little more comfortable knowing that things is going to get better.
This is only my personal opinion. Now, I've gotten to the point here that any guests that were coming in, I would tell them bring their own rubber bands and put my hair in a ponytail because I hadn't had a haircut for several weeks. And I kept thinking, do I trust the barber with a 6-foot pair of scissors? I mean, what if he slipped up just a little bit and got the neck instead of the hair, And that's a long pair of scissors to be standing 6 feet away and cutting my hair. But no, everything was fine. So, a question I have is, what do you do after somebody has tried on a dress?
We take it to if they don't buy it. I have to say, lately it's been fabulous. Everybody that's coming in has tried on and bought what they've tried on. But we take it and you can steam it, and the steam kills any germs on the hot steam.
And they've got another product too that they've installed at the White House, the new UV light.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's walking through. A friend of mine didn't invent that, but he invented and he placed it. He put it. In fact, he's got an order for a bunch of them.
Wow.
Lots of them and you just walk through it, and the light comes on. It kills everything, every germ or whatever. And then we've got another product coming out that goes in your heating and air conditioning system, and it's a chemical, non-toxic chemical mist that kills everything.
Oh, I want that. Oh, that is so neat.
Anything.
Really?
Yeah, it'll be out on the market within the next couple of weeks, and we're proud to be advertising it, or will be advertising as soon as it hits the market. So.
I want to know more about that.
Okay, yeah, it'll kill Legionnaire's disease.
Wow.
It kills anything that's in your heating system. It will. It's just a very light mist that as your heat or air comes on and blows through your ductwork, it kills everything that's in the ductwork. So.
Well, that sounds like a miracle.
Yeah, it's going to be very good.
Product.
But anyway, the UV light thing, they've got them that you could just go like with a wand over and it'd kill everything.
Really? So where do you buy those? Like.
Well, we'll talk after the show, but it's you wouldn't have to steam it.
That's right.
And this is what they're using in the White House.
Okay.
You walk through like a door entrance, but it has the lights come on and it kills front and back, and won't kill if you got a bug. It ain't going to kill it inside you, but if it's on your clothes or anything like that, it will kill it.
That's great.
They just came out, installed the first unit in the White House 2 weeks ago. And I'm surprised that the media hadn't picked up on it, because anybody with the media that walks into the White House has to walk through this.
Wow.
And
That's
or anybody that walks
yeah.
into the White House period has to walk through it. And, but it's very
That's
interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, so any regrets?
About opening?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely not. I wish I could have opened sooner.
And okay, let's turn it on the other side of the coin. And you and I talked just a little bit about this, I never stopped. We never closed the radio station. Then again, we don't have a lot of people that come to the station, but we can run it. I can run it from home or from here, and I never stopped coming in. But we had some people that did and didn't want to come in, which that's fine too. They didn't want to chance it or whatever. So they stayed home. I haven't made up my mind yet whether I thought it was overblown, but I think it was in many ways, and I think you're probably seeing it in your store now, that it was bad enough. And when anybody dies, it's bad, and that it was quite a slap in the face wake-up call to that we are vulnerable. It wasn't like a rocket attack or something like that. This was that could have wiped out millions and millions of people, and so hopefully with that lesson, they're taking the same precautions. I was looked at and I thought some lady was going to stick her tongue out at me because I didn't have a mask on at Kroger's the other day. And, people are taking it serious, which is good, obviously.
I think that is good.
And I'm sorry for the folks that succumb, but, the one thing I'm anxious for is when we can get back to the good old days in church. And
I can't wait to go back to church. That was my first Easter in my life that I didn't get to go to church, and I'm sure that was for many people. Of course, I've been watching it online, but it's not the same thing, and it's just really sad to me to miss church. That's my number one thing I miss.
Well, as you and I both agree, there's always a reason. We may not see it or know it.
There's always a reason, and something good comes out of everything. I will say, I have never had 6 weeks of downtime like that in my life. I mean, maybe since I was a little girl, and I did go into the shop every day myself for 2 or 3 hours, except of course for Sundays. But it was a slower pace. I went at my own leisure. I went in my sweat clothes, no makeup, a ponytail. And then I'd get to sleep late, take long walks, have long quiet times, read lots of books, watch movies that I hadn't seen. So I think that something good comes out of everything. And we have to always look for the good. You know that old saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And I had a lot of lemonade during those 6 weeks. And then when it was time to open my shop on Friday, I was so excited. I put my grand opening sign up in the window that I hadn't had up since 19 years when I first opened. And I feel like it is another grand opening, a re-grand opening. And we served champagne, and we just made it happy and festive. And I think that's what we have to be. And now I'll never take for granted being able to go to my store again. I pray that I won't. I pray I never take for granted getting to see my family on Easter, my first Easter night to be with my family. So I think if anyone's listening and you're having a hard time and you've lost a job or something good is going to come out of this. And so I always look for the good, and having a grateful attitude is something that has gotten me through this time, because like I said, the first 3 days I cried my eyes out. And then I thought, okay, it is what it is. And that was me just thinking I was going to be closed 2 weeks, having no idea that I was going to be closed 6 weeks. So, but good things do come out of bad things.
Well, and I think you've got the right attitude that if we're all optimistic, it will. And you can't, I haven't been excited about, we didn't close, but, still not seeing friends, not seeing some of our hosts coming in. And fortunately, our doctors all came in. And with the invincible shield around them or something, but you know how doctors are, and they were great and gave a lot of good advice from different, we have one pediatric urologist that does a show. We have a ENT that does a show, ear, nose, and throat doctor, and then we have Scott Barber, who is just absolutely wonderful. He's an orthopedic surgeon, and Scott is an orthopedic surgeon, but he's also probably one of the most well-informed docs going, and he's a capitalist, and yet he's I can't say enough about Scott. And if you have a back problem, a hip problem, an arm problem, an orthopedic problem of any kind, go to one of his many clinics, and he didn't shut down. And Scott, when he first heard about something going on in China, he had his staff double up on orders and stocked up on everything from masks to gloves and he never closed, and many doctors did close their operation. A lot of dentists closed, and a lot of other folks closed, but Scott never closed for a minute. And he was reporting the other day that he had no patient come down with anything, and he had extra people on, literally sanitizing everything all the time, continually, And Scott has turned out to be a very close friend, and we also have one other thing that we have to mention is that our general, we have a general that does a show for us, General Richard Dix, and General Dix served under Stormin' Norman in Iraq, and was Norman's Schwarzkopf's general in charge of logistics, and he's retired, but the Army called him back, and he's the one that's in charge right now. And his name is, they've described exactly what he's doing, and Richard and I are very close friends and talk maybe once a week or whatever, but he's in charge of, if it's over here and it's needed over there, he gets it over there, whether it's a respirator, a mask, a toilet paper, or whatever the heck it is. And he's a logistics expert, and we look forward to General Dix coming back. Do you know what a jody is? Mm-mm. Okay. You've seen cadence calls, or cadence of men marching, and somebody's yelling out a cadence, a song or whatever. Well, General Dix, I teased him into, he sings his own jodies to open his show. And to get a general to do it is...
that's neat.
I was a grunt, nothing in the infantrymen, and nothing in the military, but Richard and I have a ball together, and his fan club is the the swim ladies, the mermaids from LA Fitness, and they listen every week to his show, and I know they've been hurting because he hadn't been on a couple of weeks. So,
well, nobody's a nothing in the military, David. You served our country, so don't say that. You don't speak that over yourself. You were definitely something. We appreciate your service to our country.
Well, I was the very low end of anything.
Doesn't matter. You served.
But, yeah, I did my time, but it, and this is something that a lot of folks that have never been in or never served don't understand, and yet it's a common bond that you have no matter what.
Only 1% of the population, right? And I think it's getting less than that now.
Yeah.
I just have such a heart for our military. I love our military. Every time I see one in the airport, I say thank you, and they say back, thank you. I mean, there's something so humble about a serviceman or woman. They all have such a spirit of serving, just like you said, I was nothing. No, you were something, but that was your servant's heart, even saying that about yourself. And I think there's something so beautiful about serving our country.
Same oath.
Well, I know that's what.
Protect and defend,
right.
And from foreign or domestic, and I hated in many ways to see the Guard called up during this pandemic. But I also knew that we have the best trained, the best officers. We have the best now.
Mm-hmm.
And when a lot of people would argue with me, and even Richard Dix and I argue about it on volunteer or not volunteer Army, draftee as compared to volunteer. Well, my youngest son, who I'm extremely proud of, is a major in the Air Force.
Wow.
And serving in Germany. And as obviously he volunteered, and our volunteer military, you only ask them once, and they do it, and they're there for all of us, as are the first responders. I've been very fortunate in my life. I was all three. I was in the military. I was a first responder for a while, and and then public service after that. But it's we talk about this fraternity, and the military is the largest fraternity and sorority in the world. And when you're sitting next to or across from or with a veteran. Right. And like you said, for me, it's a very humbling experience to sit across from General Dix.
I'm sure.
I never had anything affect me like this did, and I work closely with Johns Creek. Have you heard of the Johns Creek Healing Wall?
Mm-mm. Oh, yes, I have. Yes, okay, I have.
It was 50% size of it toured the United States of the Veterans Wall in the Vietnam Veterans Wall in Washington, and I called Mike Mazzell, who's been in charge of it, the other day to see if we're still going through with, or have you set another date? And he said, well, we don't know when because last night it was vandalized.
Oh no, you're kidding!
No, and
that is horrible. I hope they catch.
Sick, literally sick when he told me that. I had so many friends, and that was the era that I served in.
That is just horrible.
Oh, and it was. I left and went out to the wall after that, and it looked like hammers and they had scratched through, and all of it has to be replaced.
Oh,
that
is horrendous.
Yeah, it's terrible. But anyway, what the chief of police in Johns Creek figured out, which I still don't know if they've caught him yet or not, or
I pray they catch him.
But it was kids on skateboards.
No way. Young kids?
It's the wall is vertical, and they'd get up speed and go and then do their thing on their skateboards on the wall, and that's what made the indentations were their wheels when they'd hit it, and then the scraping was from whatever on their skateboards. And my feeling is, yes, I'd love for them to catch the kids and then make the parents pay for the wall.
Right. And make the kids do research and read all about those lives and the people that died for them so that they could ride their skateboards.
Yep. It just it made me sick, and even thinking about it. And,
right, I'm so that's.
We are going to have the opening, and it had been postponed because of the virus. But we'll come back, and Mike Mazzell, Colonel Mazzell, is he's a great guy, as is Colonel Rick White that helps us. He's the director of, and I put these plugs in even when we're doing a women's show. But, he's the director of the Georgia Veteran Military Hall of Fame. You probably didn't know there was one.
I didn't know that.
There is, and it's very informative, and it's once we open back up, certainly encourage. It's right across the street from the Capitol in the Sloppy Floyd building.
Okay.
And it takes over the whole building, and they do have a good. In fact, I'll do this on the air. I will set a time when it's open back up, and I'd love to buy you lunch there and walk through the museum with you. They have a great restaurant actually in the bottom of it, and
in the Sloppy, I've eaten there.
And
the Sloppy Floyd building.
So hopefully someday, whenever
I know when things get back to, and we keep hearing normal. I think we might have a new normal, but I think the new normal is going to be better. We can't live in the good old days. We've got to press on.
Well, some of us may live in the old days. It's always, everything's always changing.
Right.
This is sort of one of those, I guess it would be called a forced change. Mm-hmm. But like you said, we'll learn something out of it. You brought some samples.
Let me show y'all. Yeah. Everybody that can say. I just want to show you the different kind of things I sell. I sell pretty silk blouses, just some cute white. This is a line out of Canada that we love called Tribal. And then this is a fabulous line. This is a 5th generation French line. And we love their things. It's actually the jacket that I have on. It's very patriotic, even though they're from France. And then this precious little line that's made in the USA. Most of my things are made in the USA, unless they're French or Canadian. Or I do have a wonderful line from Spain that's the King of Spain's tailor. But this cute little line is just a darling, great price, $138 for a little dress to throw on. So I just wanted you women, or some of you men that need to buy a Mother's Day present, to know that you can get a gift certificate, and that's always fun. And we have really cute accessories, jewelry, fun things like that. So GingerHowardSelections.com. You can go shopping right now.
That's super. That's super. And do it, folks. That's I've known Ginger many years.
Long time.
And, I know that I don't know. I can't speak for other people. I know how when I was married and shopped and stuff. You always I wanted somebody I felt confident in.
That's right.
And and someone that I knew if there was any kind of question, I could always ask.
That's right.
Ginger's there for you as well as for your girlfriend or your wife or whoever that special lady might be. So Ginger Howard Selections, and her shop is wide open.
That's right. We're open every day from 10 to 5. Well, I'll say every day, not Mondays. If you're still skittish about getting out, I'm happy to make a private appointment with you on Mondays. But Tuesday through Saturday, we're there from 10 to 5, and we have a lot of fun, and it's a real cute shop. And I'm having a trunk show this weekend, which is a trunk show means the line sends lots of their things, and we sell pieces of jewelry or clothing. And this particular line is a jewelry line from Italy, Christina Sabatini. Beautiful, beautiful things. So that starts tomorrow, and if you buy a pair of earrings or any of the jewelry, you register to win a free pair of earrings from the line. So we do fun things. We have trunk shows, we have parties. I actually missed my anniversary sale. April 1st was 19 years in business, and we were closed, so I'm going to celebrate that this month, so we'll send out something about that, and we just have a lot of fun. So we'd love to know you. If you're not familiar with my shop, we'd love to meet you and come on down.
Can I put you on the spot?
Yes. I don't know.
You sure?
No.
I know you love veterans. I would almost bet if a veteran walked in that they'd be treated extra special.
Absolutely, and they get a veteran's discount.
Fantastic. Man or woman?
Man or woman. Yes, you can put me on the spot for that.
Okay. I have, and this is. I love this. So, I would think you have a future in radio myself.
Well, thank you very much. I have had a past in radio. I don't know about a future.
Well, the opposite of past is future. So, I think it would be great to have the Ginger Howard Show on America's Web Radio. But I'm not going to put you on that spot today. But I'll keep.
You can keep asking. For years. Give me your microphone and I'll talk all day long. That's what they say about preachers and politicians, and I guess I'm a politician and a preacher too. I think I'm both.
Well, we need both today.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And we need good politicians. And quite frankly, I've been ashamed. I love our country. I would die for my country, but I can't say that I would particularly want to die for most of our politicians. And I feel very strongly that our politicians, I don't think they should make our laws and laws that control the military if they haven't served. They have no clue.
Oh, I agree.
And some of the ridiculous things that they have done, rules of engagement, that just the most ridiculous thing ever. Mm-hmm. And if somebody's shooting at you, you have to ask them if they have a weapon.
Yeah.
It's just.
Isn't that changing now a little bit under President Trump? Haven't they changed?
It has changed some, but it's still. It's not as wide open. I like many of my friends, officer friends, say. It's sort of it's like what Jesus said: "Let the dead bury the dead."
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's sort of like let the military run the military. Doesn't mean let them get out of hand. It just means
absolutely. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, let them do it.
Right. Don't micromanage them from behind your big desk in Washington. Yeah. Like you said, they have no idea.
Yeah, I'm still working on. Your president a few years ago said, "Lead from behind." I never quite figured that out. Mr. Obama said it many times. We're leading from behind. Hello? Didn't know that's where the leader was. And the real leader is always the one sticking his neck out front.
Absolutely.
And we've got a real leader right now. And I hope folks will remember that in a couple of months. That he has got. I just cringe at the thought of how bad this could have been.
If Hillary were there.
Or anybody else. I think we were right place, right time. So we've got Ginger Howard Selections down in Buckhead. How's the parking down there?
The parking is good, especially now.
Yeah.
I have parking right in front of my store, and I also have a parking lot behind my store. So, and if you want curbside service, I'll bring it out to your car. Listen, we aim to please.
Is this BYOM, bring your own mask?
Yes, actually, I ordered some really cute masks, a bandana mask, but they should be in soon, so we can give you one or sell you one, or bring your own mask.
BYOM, bring your own mask. And I guess you could say BYOHS, bring your own hand sanitizer.
No, we have that there. We have it right at the counter, and we're ready for you.
That's great. Mm-hmm. That's great. And, the other thing is, you like to do business with somebody that's liking doing business and understands your questions and concerns and understands so many places have gotten away from, heaven forbid, the customer is right. I remember a big store here that no matter what the question was, the customer was always right. Mm-hmm. And boy, you don't get that anyplace anymore.
That's what we try to strive by. We have, I believe, the best customer service in Buckhead with my store. My employees treat everyone like their family. We just roll out the red carpet. We love my customers. We know them all by name. We have repeat customers. I've had that shop for 19 years, and for 19 years I've had some of the most wonderful customers who came the very first day and still shop with me now. And even during the shutdown, I had husbands of the customers, or the customers call me and say, I just want to buy a gift card from you right now and use it later, just to give me money for the shop, which just meant so much to me. I'm very blessed.
And I'll bet you, I'll make you another bet and put you on the spot. I bet you only have maybe 4 or 5 customers, and those are the ones that came in the last couple of days. The rest of the people that come in are your friends.
They're all, I have no customers. They're all friends, actually, yes. Absolutely. I love all my customers. They're wonderful. I don't even call it, you're right, they're friends.
And that's the way it should be. And I think this pandemic and stuff is going to push us back to more stores with that attitude. That's one thing about, I talked about Scott Barber, and Dr. Scott Barber, that is an orthopedic surgeon, and I think he has either 4 or 5 locations, but it's the Barber way. When you walk in, and no matter, I went in horrendous pain one day, and I'd blown my meniscus, and Scott, it was a weird situation, but anyway, I won't go into total detail. But anyhow, I went, the first time I'd ever been in his office, and I was attacked by his staff. They had wheelchair, they had this, they had, we understand this, we're going to get you out of the pain immediately, and everybody had a smile on their face, and you don't worry. I mean, it was just, I've never been in a doctor's office like that.
That's wonderful.
And the Barber way, and we'll have to start calling it
the Howard way. Yes.
Yeah. And it makes sense. If with your reflection, your people that work with you are a reflection of you.
Right, exactly. And that's why I said to everybody, I want you to come back if you are 100% ready and excited and happy. I don't want anybody to have any trepidation, because when you have that, it shows. And so far that has been the case. Everybody has come back with a smile on their face and a spring in their step and ready to help our customers and just be really happy campers.
That's super. That absolutely super. Boy, did somebody make a wise decision about asking you to be on. I don't know who that guy is.
Well, thank that person very much. It was fun to be here.
That masked man. No, I just gotta find my Tonto or something, I guess. I don't know, but no, this has been super, Ginger. And politically, what does your crystal ball say? And I ask that only because I know how you feel, and know your thoughts, sort of. So what's your crystal ball say about November and leading up to November? And your buddy Biden.
My buddy? He's not my buddy. My buddy is Trump. I would say we have a war ahead of us. It is going to be a really tough few months because we don't have the media on our side. In fact, not only are they not on our side, they're against us. And everything, as you said earlier, but the kitchen sink has been thrown at President Trump. So what I say is we have to, again and again and again, reiterate to people the policies and the amazing things that President Trump has done since being elected against all odds, against the Russia hoax, the impeachment hoax, now the having to deal with the pandemic. I mean, one thing after the other has been thrown in his face, yet he helped make our economy the highest it's ever been, unemployment the lowest, minority unemployment, women unemployment. So what I say to people is, look what he has done. He deserves to finish the race that he started. And so I believe that if we talk about his policies, if we talk to the people about how it affects them, their pocketbooks, their families. Here in Georgia, we're going to have a battle on our hands because we have 2 Senate races, and one of them is a jungle primary. So we've got a lot of work to do, but I believe that ultimately the state of Georgia and the country is still center right. They are not as far left as the Democrats have gone, and I just truly believe on November 4th, we're going to wake up with the presidency, the Senate, and I, with every fiber of my being, praying and believing that we're going to win back the House.
You know, there's, being in the women's store business and clothing business, I believe there's an old saying that goes something like, behind every man or behind every great man is a great woman. And a friend of ours, I think you'll know who I'm talking about, from Florida, paid her way up to help decorate the Christmas tree in the White House. And she's commented to me several different times about that was the greatest experience she's ever had in her life, and that the First Lady was just beyond beautiful, as far as not just physically, but but as a person, and just was there working, and she said, I've never been as mad as when the media made fun of her in Levi or in blue jeans working, and it's like she's looked better in blue jeans than they would.
Absolutely. She's drop dead gorgeous in a croaker sack.
Yeah. So, and that she was working, she worked her tail off, and she was also the host of hosts, offering all the, any of the volunteers, if they needed coffee or sandwiches or anything they needed, she was there to help them and make sure they got whatever they wanted. And, I look at her and I look at Trump, and, they've been, the media, like you said, has been after him since day one. Oh, they have no class. Well, compared to what the garbage that was in there previously, they so far, the First Lady and Trump so far outclass them, and they're just classy folks. And our special agent in charge, he's still in touch with his friends, and even the Homeland Security every now and then will be drawn into doing duty for the Secret Service. The Secret Service absolutely loves the Trumps, as they did the Bushes.
Oh, yes, I have heard that.
And they can't say that for the people in between, or the Clintons.
Or
But they absolutely love them, and it's not like Trump is going around handing out Rolexes or something like that. It's just that they know how to treat people. They treat them right. You need a cup of coffee, you need this, you need that. And
well, I will say this about the Trump family. I'm the Republican National Committee woman, and we have meetings all over the country, and a couple of times we've had a meeting at the Trump Doral in Miami, and the staff that works there, without solicitation, driving me on a golf cart, told me story after story about Mr. Trump then, when now the family runs the business, but story after story about how much they love Mr. Trump and the Trump family, and a story about how he took care of a housekeeper one time. I mean, these stories that never get out in the press about how good they are to everyone. Their employees love them.
And well, they should. I think on that beautiful note, we're going to end this by saying, Ginger, first things first, will you come back?
I will come back.
Okay. And second, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You've been a wonderful, beautiful guest, and we very proud to have you on, and want you to know that even though you slammed the door behind you, we didn't. So you're always welcome, and the dirty old carpet's out for you anytime. So
thank you.
We look forward to seeing you again, and best of luck with the reopening.
Thank you.
And I know it's going to be better.
It's going to be better than ever before, I believe.
Yes,
God will give us double for our trouble. Remember that, everybody. Double for your trouble. God bless.